Hello, everybody. I'm Allison Ball, and I am absolutely delighted to be presenting today with the Successful Bookkeeper team helping me in the background. Now, this is my first time using this platform, so it could be a wild adventure. But what I'm hoping to do for you today is to take you through a presentation and get you thinking about how you can create balance in your work week. So let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen and get my presentation up. Just take me a moment here. And what we should be seeing here is my slideshow. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, what we're going to do is I have the Successful Bookkeeper team on the back end with me, helping me with questions and Q&A. And I also have my wizard behind the curtain, Davida McBain, who is helping me also with questions. So what I thought we'd do for just process today is go ahead and cover the presentation, and then we'll have quite a bit of time at the end for Q&A. So let's go ahead and get started. So, I passionately believe that a better work and personal life awaits you if you make the right choices. And that's not to say that there are not outside factors that are um, always going to be challenging for you. The world, I don't have to tell you how complex the world is right now, what's going on. I just don't even have to make that list. You know it, you're living it. However, there are choices that you can make. Um, you might even just call them hacks, really, that you can make that actually will make a tangible, difference in your work and your personal life. And that's what I want you to get you thinking about today. So we're going to talk about why we are so scattered and stressed out. There is an elephant in the room, and it isn't what you think it is. We also are going to talk about the human factor. We are all humans. We are wired a certain way, and we have a specific way that we react to stresses and interruptions, and we can design our days to be very stressful and reactive, or we can take steps to be proactive and really control the external factors that are trying to hurt us. Now, tech can hurt us, but it can also help. And then we're going to cover next steps in Q&A. And I hope to have quite a bit of time at the end for a live Q&A so that I can interact with you. Um, for those of you that don't know me, I am the Director of Marketing at Listio. And I have a lot of relevant experience in the accounting and bookkeeping arena, including working actually as a bookkeeper for several years. So I'm very, very passionate about um, the the busy lives that you lead, and also how heart led you are in everything that you do. And I think that's what makes you very special, but it also makes you very vulnerable to being quite stressed out in your work. I absolutely believe that bookkeeping is an awesome profession. And I think many of you know this already, but here's just a list of some of the things that make it great. You get to work with really fantastic clients. The people that you choose to work with and who choose to work with you tend to be very passionate about their own businesses. They're typically solving real life, real world problems. Some of you work with very diverse businesses. So you might work for, doctors and lawyers, but on the other hand, you might have mom and pop grocery stores or a gym or a daycare center and all the way in between. So you have a real diverse opportunity to support different types of businesses. And of course, you know that when those businesses are successful, kids get to go to university and people get to buy a second car and people get to buy buildings and employ people. And it's just a circle of goodness. You have a lot of fun problem solving, and the opportunity to help your business owners to really, help them understand these numbers mean this, and if we do this then this happens. And there's all sorts of diverse things that you just the gamut of problems that you get to solve. And then the last thing is that you absolutely love helping people. And I know for me, it's a really good day when I can help somebody. It's an amazing good feeling when I've contributed to someone else's success, and I know you share that as well. So bookkeeping is an awesome, awesome profession. So why don't we always love our jobs? This is kind of the big question. And I think it has a fact. I think there's many factors that are involved in this, but when I talk with you at conferences and one-on-one and over social media, and I read all of the things that you're discussing, and we talk with our customers at Liscio, many of whom are bookkeepers, of all different sizes. We have solo firms all the way up to pretty large bookkeeping firms. Um, we hear some themes, and some of the themes are everything's in my head. I just feel like I'm going to explode. There's never enough hours in the day. I have things coming at me from all direction. Um, I have to chase clients. I feel like I'm babysitting them. There's all these comments and things that people make, excuse me, that indicate that there's some stress, right? So the sad thing is when polled. This was a recent poll. This was done last year, in late 2021. Over 5,000 accounting professionals were polled, and the accounting industry, how meaningful is your job, was rated as mostly 1 or 2 stars. And so I thought that was really sad. There were very few people that really felt that they were spending their time, their daily time, in adding value. And the way that that translates to us personally is we end up feeling a sense of frustration. We don't um, feel like we've spent our time productively working on the joyful work for the for our clients. And the joyful work is the type of work, you know it, when you're actually sitting down and you're actually doing the bookkeeping. You're creating those trend reports, you're creating the budget reports, you're creating actual value for your clients that you can then sit down and explain to them. Now, to get to that point, there's a lot of stuff that you have to work through that's just frustration. And add on top of that that many of you are looking to hire help because you've just got too much going on. And so it's really tempting to think that because you're so busy, because there's so much taking you away from your work and there aren't enough hours in the day, it's very, very tempting to think that bringing more people in will help. And it may help. That might be one of the solutions. But the challenge is that you're going to find that at the moment in today's environment, it's very difficult to find qualified help. So what's going to happen is you bring people in and then you've got to train them. And so there's this friction, if you will, between it's faster to do it myself, but I've got all of this stress, or I need to hire somebody so that I can have less stress and do the more meaningful things. And it can be quite crazy making. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold. But I do believe and all signs indicate that bookkeeping is and will be a top 10 profession if we can control our stress. So, as we get into the meat of the presentation, let's start with this elephant in the room. And all of you started, and I just love this woman's face because her face just says it all. She is sitting in the room thinking, what is going on here? This is crazy. What's going on? And really what it comes down to is that bookkeeping ends up being 2 jobs in one. And half of the job is what you really love to do, and it's what you signed on to do. It's why you became a bookkeeper. It's because um, you can create order out of chaos. You can take all of these transactions and turn them into like an actual story. You can create actionable um, advice and guidance for your clients. Now, the other half ends up being admin, and it is not fun. It is drudgery. It is repetitive things. It is over and over and over again, um, asking, chasing, looking, searching. Um, one of the things that I hear from bookkeepers frequently is my clients keep texting me pictures of documents. And you gotta hand it to your clients if they do that, because they are trying to. They are really trying to give you what you need. They are If someone is texting you, they are telling you, you know, Allison, I'm really trying to give you what I need, but I only have my phone. That's all I have. And I know you need that document, so I'm going to send you the picture. But then what happens? You've got a text that you've got to deal with. That's not part of your system. You can't easily share that with another person in your team if you have a team. If it's just you, it's the same process. You've got to remember what to do with that text and put it somewhere. But it's even worse when it's attached to a fuzzy JPEG photo. And that's because you have to do all sorts of arts and crafts to turn it into a PDF to save it into your system. So um, that I'm just giving that as an example of a frustration that you may be feeling over and over and over again is, why are my clients texting me? Why are they doing this? Why can't they just answer my email and put the documents into the portal? Um, and I'm going to cover a little bit of that, why that if the basic bottom line is that if you make it really difficult for your clients, they're going to make it really difficult for you. And email in a portal is a very difficult experience for clients to deal with, and it causes this swirl of extra admin that you have to do. So I want you to keep that in mind as we go through. But the great news is that half of your job is already what you love to do, and if we can shift the time, if we can shift how you spend your time, we can reduce the admin, automate some of it, have tech help, get rid of the tech that doesn't help, get your clients on board so that they're helping, and free up more time to do the work that you love to do and reduce the admin time with which this frustration. So this is really the money slide for this presentation. And what we want to do is to make it bookkeeping is one job in one, doing all the work we love to do and just a little tiny bit of admin. So here's the loop. Here's the loop that many of you are currently in. Your client engages you to do work. We're going to go around in the circle. You request the information you need. You wait. You hound. You wait. The client responds late or responds in different places, different ways. Then you have to give your all to deliver, throw everything on it, and then it goes round and round. It's not a great loop. Um, and this loop is experienced by accounting professionals all over the United States and Canada. And I think there's nothing different with Australia and US as well. It's a bit of a bummer. So what's the result of that? Now, this one I think is so funny. Like this just made me laugh so hard. But you push and push and push and try to get through the busy season, and but it doesn't change things. Your life still stays busy. So we don't even really call it the busy season anymore. We call it the busier season. And that's when you've got all the deadlines to do, or you've got all of these um, things that are piling up on you, and you have to get through a specific deadline. And the only way to do it is to throw more hours at it personally, and your family life and your health, perhaps your personal life definitely suffers, and the stress just goes up. So we have a recipe to fixing the profession. And one part is human biology, one part is tech, and then two parts in the middle, so we've got four parts here, is sharing and helping each other. And that's why we are all here today. So let's start with our biology. And we are all humans. Um, we have different personalities. We have different physical bodies. Some of us might be tall or short or, muscular or whatever. But the point is, we're all hardwired the same way, and that's to respond to others. And so we we want to respond. right? If someone asks us for something, and especially bookkeepers, because you have gone into this profession to help people, you're wired to help people. Um, you should understand there's absolutely no such thing as multitasking. And the other thing is that you are built to move. We are built, we have our bodies are built to move. And so we very, very few adults can focus for more than 90 minutes at a time. And I would argue that it's more like 25 minutes, but 90 minutes at a stretch if you're really in deep. And so if you think about it in your own work day, think about how you feel when you're on a complex problem, you're working really hard on something, and then you get interrupted. It's like squirrel. And sometimes the interruption is really tempting because you can answer it quickly, or it's somebody that you've been trying to get in touch with. Oh, I've got to take that call. You've got to be really careful. The other thing is look at your off hour productivity versus your work hour productivity. So, how many of you get your best work done in the evenings? It's kind of a bummer. I bet you lots of people are going, "Yep, I do." And why is that? It's because you don't have people interrupting you. And so, but at the same time, your evening should be for you to relax and refresh and do what you want to do. Perhaps you have, you know, family. Maybe you just want to spend time with your family, or you want to watch your favorite TV show, or you want to relax or do yoga or read or whatever. Go for a painting class. Whatever it is that you want to do, you should be able to spend your off hour work doing personal work, personal life, personal work, and your work hours should be your productivity. So this is where we're going to be. I want you to all to start thinking about a mind shift. And the other thing is, if you're able to incorporate a 15-minute walk into your day each day, which I do personally always every day, at least 15 minutes walk, um, I feel so much better and my brain is so much more productive and I'm clearer. So these things are proof that we are wired. Our biology is wired in a certain way, and we have to acknowledge that in order to create a day that is going to really work for us. So I have some practical steps that you can take during the day. Um, you're going to want to go into your computer and your mobile device and mute things. So leave the alerts on only for direct mentions because you can always go back. So this is all about alerts. You can always go back and like see what you need to see. Like your like Slack or Teams, it's going to tell you, oh, there's a little number. Okay, there's something there. You can, but do it on your time, not on everybody else's time. So no alerts. Don't have them pop up on your screen. Only direct mentions, and you're going to train your team to only at, for Allison, only at Allison if it is really important, like it needs attention now. And you're going to train your team if you have a team or your clients, a little different issue, but you can again, you can manage that through alerts. Train your team to think twice before sending a message. So they should really be thinking about the cost of context switching. If I don't send things to my CEO Chris unless I've really thought it through. And I think, okay, I think I've got something I need to ask him. Okay, that's true. Do I need this answer immediately? Like, is it worth taking him off what he's working on? I have no idea what he's working on. But if there's something important, one of the things I will do is I will look at his calendar and I'll see what is he working on. And he blocks his time for focus time. So if it's focus time, you do not interrupt him unless the building is burning. Okay? Um, and we bundle non-urgent items and we actually send that through a low urgency channel like email. So we use our channels for different things and we really think through whether we want to context switch someone else. And you, if you have staff, you want to be thinking also about your staff in the same way. Do not pounce. Do not send them urgent things all day because all you're doing is pulling them off the work that they need to do. And so one of the things I do with my team is I have a list And as I'm thinking about things, that urgency is in me. Oh, I need an answer from Davita, but I don't send it immediately. I actually write it down and then make sure that I have time to review it, unless it really is urgent, in which case, okay. Um, you can turn on focus time settings on your devices and your calendars. It's super important to do this because if you do that, then the notifications will be muted, and you can actually get more work done. And then take breaks and move. And so, an interesting thing that we do, and I'll cover some of the tests that we've been running at Lisio, um, is I take walking meetings with people. So my one-on-ones are typically walking, and that is I have my phone with me, obviously, because we take the call on the phone. Um, but we're both walking, and then if we need to stop and take a note. We just stop and do it on our notepad on our phone. Easy. And then you want to be sure that everybody is reciprocating these behaviors so that you really respect everyone's time and they respect yours. And you allow people to get into that deep work, that really satisfying work that really feels good when you've done something really, you've created that great spreadsheet and worked it all through, or you balanced your clients' accounts, or whatever the definition of that deep work for you is. You know when you've done it, you know when you feel really good about it, and you've created value. You want to be shifting your time so that you have focus time for that. And one of the things is you have to reduce the distractions. The results of this are really can be absolutely profound. People feel more relaxed. They know that they have time to produce. And the reason that it's so important for us to produce is that, again, we're wired to help people. We are wired to want to produce. Many of us are very action oriented. So the action, now we need to shift to being results oriented. That's a little different thing. Um, but you should see the productivity levels skyrocket and the anxiety levels decrease. And your team will steadily embrace the changes. Again, if you have a team, if it's just you, then you're managing yourself, but you will find that there will be a shift over to it. And I want to give a shout out to an author called Cal Newport. There are two books that you could consider reading. One is Deep Work, and the other one is A World Without Email. And those are pretty much they're fantastic books. So definitely read that, or research Cal Newport. Now, the next question I want to ask is, why hasn't tech solved our problems? Because for most software vendors will tell you save time, save money. Um, that is the promise of most technology. The challenge has been, doing uh, i- as you add another technology and it does something faster, you have, as I said, you have another channel potentially for your clients um, to reach you, which can be a distraction. Um, there was a study, and I'm afraid I've forgotten who did it, but I think it was Dell. It was Dell Computer. Yes, it was. Um, every channel that you add for your customers to contact you um, adds an exponential amount of cost internally because there's more places to look. And so you want to be thinking about all of the touch points, especially with your customers, especially with your clients. You want to be thinking about shrinking that to the least amount possible, because then that's the fewer places that you have to look. So tech has actually made things worse. If you think about it, we used to have, back in the old day, we used to have these things called red files. And all of your documents would just be in the file in the folder, right? You just put them in the folder as they come in. Um, Now you've got sort of this sort of digital folder, but the problem is it's not one folder, it's everywhere. So you might have it in email, text, Slack, um, Box, DocuSign, all these different places, Outlook, um, just a conversation even on the phone. It can be so many different places that you're like, where is that document? Like, that could be literally the question that you're asking yourself, where is that document? Where is that information that I need it? Um, and if it's in endless email strings and you have a team, that makes things even worse, because many of you may be blind copying and copying your team to keep them in the loop, which is exploding the number of emails and the number of things that they need to take that they need to take to pay attention to. So tech actually has there was a great it's a great idea, but all these single point solutions that you have created a cacophony of just craziness. But there is a change on the horizon, and the great news is that it's really attainable. You first need to think about your how I think going back to the channels and the Dell example. How many channels do you give your clients to communicate with you? And if you came out of a client experience 1.0 firm, some of the folks who are a little bit older on the call may remember these types of firms. Really very rigid, not a lot of ways for clients to get in touch. They could email, they could phone, they could fax, they could mail things in, or they could come in person to the office. Really very few ways but that actually kept things kind of simple. It wasn't a great experience for the clients though, because off hours there was no way to put a message in or um, it's very restrictive. It felt like it was like the firm was dictating, and there was really very little focus on what was happening for the client. Now, tech forward firms, which many of you have either started on your own or you have joined, um, added solutions to help enable clients to sort of be anywhere, anytime. And so electronic signatures, a document portal, clients started texting. You might have email encryption where hardly anybody uses it, but they should. Um, Social media messages, WhatsApp. You're now getting it in too many places. You may have clients who send you documents giving you their Google link. You have to download it from there. So this craziness has happened, and that's client experience 1.5. And the reason it's 1.5 and not 1 is that it does give the clients a bit more control. And so they if they text you, they feel like they've done something. Oh, I've texted Allison. They feel like they've done something to get their anxiety, but they've created more anxiety on your side. Now, client experience 2.0, which Liscio has actually pioneered and has trademarked that term, you're going to bring everything into one app for your client communications. And the brilliance of doing that is there's only one place to look, and everything gets quieter and calmer. And if you have a team, you can see every team member can see what's happening with each client. Your client only has one place to go. So if you need something from them, you're going to send them a note through Liscio. Most of your clients will choose to use it on their phone, and they'll get a little ping and, "Oh, Allison needs something from me." And they just open up this beautiful app, and if it's a document they need to sign or a quick question, um, they can do that on their phone. If it's a piece of paper that you need from them, it feels like taking a picture. It's very similar to an online banking app where you just and then but you get a PDF. And everything is in one place. And the cool thing is that clients will stop asking you to resend documents that you've already sent them because they will know that they can self-serve inside Liscio. So client experience 2.0 was really the technology solution for this craziness that now you'll still get email and you'll still get phone calls and you'll still get some snail mail, but everything will reduce. And this slide here is very symptomatic of what many of you may be experiencing right now. You have asked a client for something. You sent them a very clearly worded email with a link to your portal. So it wasn't what you said. It wasn't, you were very clear. But what happened was your client got the email, they got it on their phone, and they knew immediately that they couldn't answer. And why? Why couldn't they answer? Because they don't have a scanner. I'll have to wait till I'm in the document to scan those documents too. Um, I can't log into the portal. That link expired. Um, can you resend those files that you sent me? I can't find them. I didn't check my email. Do you have a mobile app? Like, can we just do this? Like, I'd rather do this the way that I'm dealing with all the other companies that, all the other wonderful things that other wonderful services. Do you have a mobile app? So if any of these things sound familiar, then You are making it difficult. Your current client experience is making it difficult for clients to work with you in a way that is also good for you. Hard for them, hard for you. Now, here's the new loop. So the client requests the work. You request the information you need. Tech helps the clients get the data. Tech reminds the client. You get a little reminder. You can set your clients a task. They get a little reminder. Oh yeah, I owe that to Allison. Okay, boom, done. Clients are more likely to deliver on time, and you have more time to do great work. Everything relaxes. So tech can definitely help if you eliminate the tech that is causing the distractions and the problems and aggregate everything into one quiet, secure, safe, delightful space. So now let's talk about sharing. And one of the biggest things that you can do is to join a community. And we're going to share a link to a new community that we have called the Grove. This is a cooperative resource library for um, accounting professionals of all types. So bookkeepers, um, tax preparers, accountants, anyone with clients, really. And we've had this is not a Listio community, by the way. This is a very broad community with all sorts of different things happening. If you look down the right-hand side, I just took some of the screenshots of different areas of bookkeeping, technology, um, client experience, the tax department. Just so much that you can learn here. So we hope that you will join the Grove. It's free. There is no charge to join. You can consume all of the content on there. You can add your own, and we hope that you will start and ask and answer questions and really engage. But more importantly, come in here and learn what you need to learn to be more productive. Now I want to share some tests that we've been running at Lisio that you might consider running in your own firm. The first thing is think like a college grad. And you can hire to them too, and they will tell you exactly what is wrong with your business, and then you can help them you can have them help you change that. So the really cool thing about hiring a young new person is that um, they don't come in very set in their ways, and they're very open-minded, and they're going to work really hard to solve. If you give them a problem and tell them why it's important, and then mentor them with helping them understand how to some of the things they could think about, um, you'll get a tremendous amount of work done very, very quickly. And they're not afraid of technology. They're not afraid of looking at things differently. And I strongly recommend that you do this. Your next hire should be a brand new college grad, and then give them important big things to solve. Don't just bring them in and have them shuffle paper. I think that's the biggest thing that people do is they don't trust their new hires. Um, so, so we've been doing this, and it works great. It works amazing, and we go a little slower at first because they don't have the experience. But as the experience builds up, we go so fast. We also, and I am hoping you guys can see me on camera here. We also are all wearing Oura rings. Um, the most important thing that you can do as a firm leader is to get enough sleep. And we've all read the book Why We Sleep. It's a really important book. He's a PhD. He actually is I think he's at Harvard. Um, and you have to understand like the sleep cycles and why sleep is so important. You literally cannot be effective unless you get a really good night's sleep. And wearing a wearable like Oura, Oura, um, if you wear something like that, it actually monitors your sleep, your temperature, your breathing, all these different things. I know some people have Apple Watch, they do that, some Fitbit, whatever. But the point is, you have to understand what kind of sleep you're getting and the data. And the reason I love the Oura ring is that personally, um, I do not feel fresh and ready to go unless I get a sleep score above a certain number. I also need a certain combination of sleep. And deep sleep is the most important. At least for me, it feels like it's most important because that is when your brain, it's not your REM cycle, it's not when you're dreaming. That's when your brain actually flushes. And I learned this by reading this Why We Sleep book. Your brain actually flushes your head, I guess, flushes your brain with chemicals that wash everything out. And so the deep sleep is super important. And each adult needs a certain percentage. It gets a little less as we age, but the point is that you need that deep sleep, and you can only understand whether you've got it by having the data. So I strongly recommend this, and the executive team at Lisio all has the Aura rings, and I think it was one of the best things that we did as a team. The other thing we do is we have the Peloton app that we make available to any employee who wants it. It costs like $15 a month. And it's not the Peloton bike. We're not buying the bike for anybody, but we get the app, and you can take all of these exercises and these classes and things just when you want to, just by logging in. It's fantastic. So, whatever your choice of exercise is, like yoga or stretching, it doesn't have to be crazy cardio. You can do whatever you want. But the point is that we have the app, and we can basically do these self-guided whenever we want, just on demand. And with many of us working at home, it is important to keep active. I already mentioned that we do walk and talk. My one-on-ones with my team, um, I have uh, I have 4 people reporting to me, so I get 4 hours a week of just walk. Oh, 5 actually, because I have a one-on-one with Chris. So I have 5 hours of walking a week while I'm actually working. I'm having meetings as I'm walking, so it's fantastic. I strongly, strongly recommend you do this. The other thing we do is we have time focused to um, where we're not doing emails and we're not doing texts and we're not doing um, and we get together as a group. We have get time in the middle to like set times to do these things. So right now everybody manages their own calendar. We don't say, okay, every Wednesday morning there's no meetings. You can try things like that. um, we've found that that doesn't work terribly well, but we do make our calendars available and open to everyone. And when we've blocked off focus time, we respect that time. We also use Teams internally for chat and quick messages, and we use the status. So if I'm on Do Not Disturb, my team doesn't disturb me. They wait. So we make time for that. Make time for you. Make time for group meetings, but also make time for your own work time as well. So, in recapping what we've covered here is the first thing you need to do is tame the noise. You need to really focus on what digital disruptions are blowing up your productivity. Focus. Um, 60 to 90 minutes of hard work and then move. The digital distractions are going to fund that time. If you reduce the digital distractions, you will fund that time that you need to move. So it'll all work out. And you can even do what I do and have meetings as you move. It's a great time to call clients. Go out and call them. Um, Now, action plans. You need to really solidify your vision and help your clients and your staff to focus on what really matters. I strongly suggest that you take a demo of Lisio so that you can see how it can change your life and and create more space for you by bringing everything into one quiet, secure space. And then we want you to share what works. Share with your peers and your online community. Now, I do have a few slides for Lisio just so that you can see what it looks like. And then I'm going to I'm going to turn off the presentation and we're going to do Q&A. So I mentioned that clients need things to be easy. But they also need security to be automatic. This is super important because in today's environment, if you're using email and you're asking your client to click a link in an email, You are essentially opening them up to being phished or scammed because they actually don't know if that email really came from you. If it comes through Lisio, they know it came from you. But Lisio makes it a snap. There's 4 different ways that you can log in. You can log in with your face. You can log in with your Google ID for using OAuth. You can log in with Microsoft Office 365, or you can do a username and password. So there's 4 different ways of logging in. You rarely will have to help people get into Lisio. We help you provide the best client experience in the profession. Um, it's so easy. It works. It works on Android, um, Apple phone, iOS, um, Safari, Mac, PC, tablet. It's the same. It's the same user interface regardless of where you are. So people don't have to relearn the app versus the desktop version. I mean the browser version. It is all in one for your clients. That's the one place they'll go to sign things, to download documents, to upload documents, to communicate with you, to ask questions, etc. Highly collaborative. Your team will be able to see everything that's going on with any client. And it is a secure invitation only network, meaning you invite only the people in that you want into your Lisio. So instead of emailing and waiting, you can message them instead. So the cool thing is that if you use the integrated text messaging feature where you put a little X in the corner of send by text, clients typically answer in 6 minutes or less. So again, you're not going to text them everything because not everything's an emergency. But if you need a quick answer, if there's a deadline, like, hey, Allison, we're going to miss payroll unless you tell me how many hours you had, right? Then they will answer. And I think one of the things I like the most about it is that Lisio has a built-in mobile scanner. So you literally can just one-hand it and hold the phone above the document, and it knows where the corners are, and you get a really beautiful PDF. No more fuzzy photos. And then I think one of the things I like the most about it from a practitioner standpoint is that you can actually send a document to your clients securely without leaving your accounting or your tax or your even Excel. Anything that prints to PDF, you can send directly to your client. And this little widget, this only works on the browser version, so you have to be working on your computer, but most of you will be all day. You'll be in Lisio on your computer. You probably won't use the mobile version unless you are um, on the go and want to. So the mobile version is there for you, but this feature isn't on mobile. Um, and you basically bring up Lisio Dispatch comes up, you just put who the client is and send the documents. It's fantastic. And here's just another way of looking at this. Anything that you can print to PDF can be sent to clients securely in one step using Lisio Dispatch. Staff have full visibility to all outstanding tasks for clients, everything that's going on for every client. And you can cut and dice and slice this in different ways. This is everybody. This is like the whole thing happening at the firm level. But you could do just one account and just look at one person or one staff person or whatever. You have different ways of looking at it. And you will keep clients on track because Lisio will send out text alerts and automated mobile reminders for anything that's overdue. So if you'd like to take a look at your own firm's client experience level, take our short quiz. We have a quiz on our website that will help you understand where the hotspots are in your firm that are leading to the digital distraction that's causing you to have all this stress. And so just take down lisio.me. It's not lisio.com. It's lisio.me/CXAT. That stands for Client Experience Assessment Test. So that is my presentation today. I am going to stop sharing and hopefully I have come back on camera and let's see what questions we have. All right. So Davita or Michael, I don't think you guys can come off mute. Okay, so there's a question coming in. What was my sleep score? That's great. Last night it was 82. So 85 for me is ideal. Um, and um, and I find that 82, I'm good. It's fine, but it's going to be a function of how much deep sleep I got. So I'll have to check and see how much deep sleep I got. Great question. Keep them coming. What other questions do we have? The book. The book about sleep. Oh, yes, Why We Sleep. Matthew Walker, PhD. That is a very good book. I recommend everybody get it. Oh, what was my greatest takeaway from it? Great question. Um, the I think the thing that was so interesting to me was it's okay. Okay, there's a couple things actually that I found really interesting. One, the importance of deep sleep. I had no idea that there was this function of deep sleep. I just didn't even know. I understood about REM sleep. I understood about light sleep. I obviously people are awake and you have different cycles and things. But what I didn't understand was how important deep sleep was. The other thing I didn't understand, um, um, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Deep sleep. Oh, the other one. This was really important. Um, if you take something like Ambien, a sleep aid to get to sleep, um, it actually prevents you from getting deep sleep. So, if some of you are taking Ambien as a way to get to sleep, you really need to talk with your doctors and figure out a way to try to get to sleep without using, as I said, without using the Ambien because, or something like that. Because the more you use it, the less deep sleep you get. And so, ironically, you get to sleep and you actually sleep, but you're sleeping because you're exhausted because you're not getting enough deep sleep. It's this vicious cycle. Um, and I found that there were a bunch of things that I could do, and that's where having the Oura Ring was really important because there were a bunch of things that I could do to optimize my sleep. So, for example, I know not to have caffeine after 3:30 in the afternoon. Hilariously, I can have a glass of wine at 5 p.m., but if I have one at 6, I don't sleep very well. Yay me, right? So here's me, like I've become one of those early bird people who goes to you know, early bird dinners, and yeah, isn't that hilarious? I think there's a reason. Um, so yeah, so that's pretty funny. So knowing your own, and now I still choose to have a glass of wine when I want it because I live in California and wine is amazing in California. Um, but I do have to plan it. I won't have a glass of wine if I have a big meeting in the morning or I need to be really fresh. So I you stack your deck, you understand. The other thing is that exercise, there's a certain time of day that exercise works for me and then like if it's too late in the day then I don't sleep very well. So I think for me the sleep is something that all of you should look into. I have a hypothesis that most of you are not most of you are under underslept if that's a word. Most of you are not having good sleep. So what other questions do you guys have? Um, oh, thank you. Yes, this is a good one. What are the early stage wins for a new Lisio user? Oh, that's great. Okay, like for the firm. So for the firm, what they find is that when they get their clients to use it, email virtually goes away from clients, and um, and clients start to, after a little while, clients start to self-serve. So they stop asking for documents that you've already sent them because they know that that's in Lisio. Um, they start sending documents as they get them. So the interesting thing there is that some of you do tax and or you're preparing documents to hand off to the tax preparer. Sometimes you do that. Um, there's a lot of documents that start coming in the beginning of the year, like they come in sort of January, right? Now you might not need them till, June, but the point is that you're going to basically you can start assembling them and they can start coming in as soon as the client has them. And that's because of the scanner. So a lot of times these documents come, they're paper, a lot of times, or they get downloaded from the bank or whatever. So again, that's an easy thing. You can send out a list of what you need in Lisio, and then Lisio will remind the client to send each thing. Um, the other thing I think that people really love is the use of templates. So if you find yourself typing the same thing over and over again, you can set it up as a template in Lisio, and so that you can control what is said, when it, no matter who's saying it, what is said, when it's said, um, the messaging, be very professional. And you can send those messages out to like up to 100 clients at a time. So if you're asking, so there's these things in it that will, these cadences that will start being created that I think are really helpful. But the biggest thing is that you will be able to have asynchronous communications with your clients that will actually work. And you'll take back your cell phone. You not clients will not be communicating with you through cell phone anymore. They'll still use their phone, which is really convenient for them, but they won't be texting you. They will be going through Listio instead, which feels like a text to them, so they'll feel like they've done what they need to do. But you don't have to answer it immediately, and they will know that you will answer them, and you can kind of take back your life. That's a fantastic question. How about some other questions? Um, what time commitment? What time commitment is recommended to implement as a new user? Depending on how organized you are, you can get up and running in a couple of days. It's really fast. Um, and Yeah, we help you onboard your clients and we help you invite the clients. And it's really just when I say organized, it's like we need the list of your clients and the contact information so we can load that all in. We help you send out the invitations to your clients. And then there's a little bit of training that the firm side needs, but we have a ton of help with that. Most people will attend a Welcome Wednesday webinar and then they'll watch a few videos and then they get going. It's pretty easy. If you can text and you can use an online banking app, you can use Lisio. Um, can I have different staff assigned to different clients while I see all the tasks for the firm? Yes. Yes, you can. That's a great question. Um, so the way that it works is that if you're a small team, you'll probably just have everybody be able to see everybody. So you don't have to set up, we call them client service teams. And so, if it's a small team or it's just you, then of course you won't turn on any of those settings. You'll just see everybody. But larger firms like to have a certain number of people or only one person focus on certain number of clients. So you will assign the client to what we call a client service team. And each team is made up of people on your firm. And then what you'll do is, as a firm owner, as the admin, you'll be able to see everybody. So the cool thing is that if you have a team and you want to see what they're doing and how they're treating your clients and how they're keeping up with everything, Listio is really good for that because you can see what's open at the highest, what's open across the whole company, like all of your clients, all of your staff. Um, that's a fantastic question. Okay, one more. I care so much about my clients and they only send me things after their work day. I want to make sure they feel taken care of, but I feel like a doctor on call. How would I tell my clients that I'll be responding during my work hours? Okay, so that's all in the rollout. You basically, once you're getting them set up, you say, you guys can use Listio anytime, anywhere, anytime. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in the morning and whatever came in the last over the, after hours, we'll answer in the morning. And clients are fine with that. What they want to do is, if you think about how they work with their online bank, they're they're going to put a note in there, right? They put a communication into their bank, and then the bank says, "Thank you. We'll get back to you within 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever." And everybody goes, "Okay, fine. It's there." They know they'll get back. So the trust is there, and the client can see anything that's outstanding for them as well. So if they see a message and they've sent it to you and you haven't responded, they will see it. So they know it's there. But it takes the noise out of it. Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like a doctor on call. I'm sure most of you do, actually. All right. Do we have any other questions? How are the folks out in Facebook land doing? Okay. All right. No other questions. And okay, great. And looks like you guys are answering them. My helpers in crime are answering them as they're going. Great. Well, we might be able to give you 5 minutes back, everybody. We do have 5 more minutes if you want to ask any questions, and I don't mind weird, wild, or wonderful. Deep work. Oh, big takeaways. Yeah, I think the biggest for me deep work is that you have to be able to do it in order to feel you have to be able to make time for it and be able to actually produce deep work. Otherwise, you feel um, most people feel quite inferior if they don't feel like they've really given their I actually wondered, I don't think Cal Newport really goes into this much, but I wondered if imposter syndrome is actually related to not having enough time to do deep work. Because I remember, I just think about the satisfaction that you feel when you've worked on a really big spreadsheet and you've gotten it all working and it's like really good. Like I love, personally, I love a good spreadsheet. Or I've solved a big problem for my client and I'm able to present something that's really meaningful to them. Um, it's very satisfying and you have to make time for it. So the way that you do that is you look at your day and what's currently coming at you, and then you do everything you can to reduce all those digital distractions. And Lisio is a big part of it because you will actually tame all that noise. I recommend that people do go and look. If you could share it in the Facebook Live, the website is lisio.me. Um, and the reason it's .me and not .com is um, the Lisio means delight in Italian. So it's delight me. So that's how you remember it, delight me. Um, but do check it out. We've just released a new website and it really does convey the joy and the life that you deserve. And the only way that you can really do that is to make sure that you're getting control of all of the things coming at you in a way that is delighting clients. And that's been always the friction so far is that the other solutions they do help, but they require you to be a bit of an army general and force your clients to do something that doesn't fit in with their busy mobile lives. So when you enable your clients to go about and just be who they are and live their lives in the way they're living it and serve their clients and also communicate with you in a very meaningful, um, structured way that again works for both sides, then literally all boats rise and everybody feels better. And the deep work that deep work and a world without email is Cal Newport. I mean, he wrote those years ago. It's work that's informed what we've created. Yeah. So that's my presentation today. I hope that this has been um, eye-opening for you. I hope that you have that you have some new things to think about. And if you haven't had a demo of Lisio, I really recommend that you go to the website, just click, schedule demo, and do get it's not expensive. We don't charge for clients. You get unlimited storage, unlimited tech support, and it starts as low as $40 US per firm user per month. So it's pretty cheap. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Um, and I'll have Michael. I'll let you close it out when you're ready to do that.